Hi everybody, this is Erica Slayton with the Slayton Lending Group, and I am coming to you with a kind of a different video than I normally do, and that is to talk about budgets. So this is something that I started talking about debt a couple months ago, and I've been putting together those videos, kind of scripting them out and getting all of my data that I kind of needed to get together in order to do an educational and informative and accurate video series. And in the midst of this, of course, this mess happened, this health crisis happened. And, I've got a lot of clients and friends and family members who are affected with hours cut or jobs cut. And I thought, what a better time for me to introduce things on budgets rather than debt, because right now debt is part of your budget, but the whole part is the budget. So I love this quote from Benjamin Franklin that says, small leaks can sink a great ship. And those small leaks, of course, are $5 here, $5 there, because they add up so quickly. I mean, look at your credit card statement and your usage and how often you swipe, and you can see how impactful those charges can really add up. And so I thought I would put together a list for you of some things, kind of my top 6, and then a bunch of other suggestions to help you save money here or there, because like I said, it all adds up. So number 1 is to establish for yourself a savings fund. I have always believed in a savings fund, especially in the industry that I'm in mortgage lending. I see a pure lack of savings that most people have. And I know that, some people out there would say, well, I don't make enough money to save. But trust me, if you can just shave a little bit off of your paycheck every single month or every single week or every single other week, however you get paid, just shave a little bit off every single time you get paid for that in tithing, and you would be amazed at how you don't feel it after a while. And so, especially like if you get a raise, if you get a raise, then just take that extra money, you weren't used to it anyway, and sock it away in savings. The first 10 to 20% of your income should go to savings. And so I think that's really important to mention, because when you're in times like we are now, where people are having to dip into savings, or they are stressed because they don't have any savings and they're unsure of their job situation, it would be really nice, I'm sure, for those people to have a savings account to be able to fall back on and not feel so stressed. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that your partner or your spouse, significant other, needs to be involved in the budget conversation. I have so many times heard couples that aren't aware of each other's debt, couples that they have no idea how much they each spend. And like I said, every $5 counts. So it can add up really fast if you don't watch your spending, including the spending of your spouse or significant other. So it's got to be a joint situation where you're both contributing to watching your spending and your budget. And then of course, get your kids on board. So if your kids understand what you're going through, don't keep them in the dark. Make sure that they understand, we're going to have some tight times. This is why, this is what's going on. Don't worry, we're going to be fine, but we just have to watch our spending, which means you can't go out to eat as much. This won't be something that we're visiting as often, as much as we love you, to make sure that we can cut corners and make sure that our savings and our budget is safe. Meal plan is an amazing way to save money and avoid going out to eat, and make sure that you're not wasting food. I loved it this week when one night I did something called shepherd's pie, which is a recipe near and dear to my heart from my childhood. And then I used that same hamburger meat, and then I spiced it up for the next night to have tacos. And the next night was super easy because I had already done the work the night before. So meal planning is not only a time saver, but also a money saver as well. The other one is to do a no spend month. Number 4 is a no spend month, except for buying the essentials. So take that month and don't buy anything you don't need. If you don't need it, you don't buy it in a no spend month. If you have a no spend month, that also means no movies, no, extra things that you wouldn't ordinarily have to purchase for yourself. You know, that does not mean it's a shopping spree time. It means that you do a no spend month. You'd be amazed at how much money you'll save just by doing that. Now, unfortunately, right now, a lot of us are doing a no spend month, non-essentials at least, because of what's going on with the virus. So that is causing us to hunker down, really watch where our spending is going, and just be really extra cautious about where we're going and if we are even going anywhere, right? The other thing is do a needs versus wants analysis. My dad was superb at this and taught me well. And that is basically, you might need jeans, but you don't need Guess jeans. And that's one of the things that I wanted when I was in high school so badly. I wanted that pair of Guess jeans. I wanted that little triangle on my booty. But it was one of those things, you know, you don't need them. You need jeans. You don't need me to spend $70 on a pair of jeans. And he was right. And guess what? It didn't kill me not to have Guess jeans. The other thing is to, and this is the kind of the sixth big one before we get on to the nitty gritty, and that is watch your Amazon spending. It is crazy how much and how fast you can add up your Amazon spending just by clicking add to my cart, add to my cart, add to my cart. The other thing that I would like to add to the Amazon thing is if you are purchasing something on Amazon, it is a wonderful donation if you can use Amazon Smile program rather than just your regular Amazon app. I do this personally for my son's ROTC program, and it adds a little smidgen of what I'm ordering on Amazon to their bottom line, but it doesn't cost me anything extra. So if there's a good program that you would like to donate your money to, it's already built into the purchase price, and it's where Amazon basically donates it to that particular cause. You just have to do the Amazon Smile website rather than just the regular Amazon website. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, when going out to eat, when you're allowed to go out to eat, save yourself a couple of bucks by only drinking water. Do not order a tea or soda because it costs a lot of money. And you know, right now I'm seeing tea like $2.59, and I could buy an entire box of tea for $2.59 and make 25 gallons of tea for that price. So that's the other thing. When you go home, don't buy gallons of tea. Make it yourself, because you will save at least $3.50 a gallon of tea on a gallon of tea by making it yourself. The other thing is split your meal with someone. If you have someone that you're dining with, split the meal. First of all, it's going to be great for eliminating calories because we all know that the plates of food are far too big for what we really need. But second, it'll also save you some money. The other thing is if it's just you, then why don't you split your meal and have half of it put in a to-go container and the other half you can enjoy at that time. And that will save you some money the next day for your lunch. The other thing is eat your leftovers. I have to say that I'm the world's worst at this because I'm really bad about eating leftovers, but I'm trying to be really good and aware and eat my leftovers. So that's whether you're cooking at home or eating out. And then the other thing is that you want to basically limit what you're purchasing. You don't want to purchase too much of something because if you purchase too much, it will go bad. So for example, I had a situation the other day where I had bought too many pears and I thought for sure we were going to eat them all. But, you know, the days passed, they started getting really ripe, and I noticed that like we still had 5 pears left. So I shared some with my neighbor and I was like, we're not going to eat them. They're going to go bad by the time, you know, we would be ready to eat them. Would you like them? And so we shared the food with them. And of course they were graciously accepted it because they've got lots of kids and the kids love pears too. The other thing is that kind of the opposite of the buy in bulk thing, and that is buy in bulk things that you will save money on. For example, paper products. You know, I buy shredded cheese in bulk because we go through a lot of it for omelets. I buy eggs in bulk for the same reason. Toilet paper, paper towels, things like that. And usually you can do the per ounce or per count price and compare it. I am really good at remembering what the prices are at one grocery store versus say Costco. And I will remember which one is better. So watch the price and then buy off brands because off brands are generally less expensive than, you know, the on brands or the name brands. Of course, that's a personal preference. There are some off brands that I just don't care for, but it's one of those things you have to know what you will and will not be willing to do with or without. The other thing is use cash. So this is way easier to budget for than your credit card is. So when you're at the grocery store, take yourself the Dave Ramsey method of the envelope method and take how much money you're willing to spend on your groceries with you, because this makes things so much easier to watch your budget and your spending. So that's a really important one. The other thing about Amazon, I love Amazon just like the next person. However, their prices are not always the best. Watch the prices on Amazon. Many times you can get things a lot less expensive at the store if you would just be a little patient and go to the store and get it on your own, rather than having that 2-hour delivery or the next day delivery or 2-day delivery. That instant gratification, kind of can play against you sometimes, because sometimes Amazon is cheaper. It just depends. So compare prices for sure. At the dollar store, the other thing, I love the dollar store. My kids hate it when I say I just need to pop into the dollar store, because they're like, oh mom, please. The dollar store is not always the cheapest. So be sure to compare your pricing of the dollar store versus going to the grocery store or whatever store you're talking about. Crafts, for example, are not always less expensive there. You just have to compare the quantity with the amount per unit price. So be careful of that. Same thing with CVS and Walgreens. It's called a convenience store for a reason. Same thing with going to the gas station for a gallon of milk. It is more expensive. So that's, like I said, called the convenience store for a reason. It's convenient and more expensive. Okay, as far as your car is concerned, there are ways to save money on your car. And that is, first of all, reevaluate your car insurance every 6 months. It's amazing to me. Some of my friends do this religiously every 6 months, and they're always saving themselves $25, $35 a month just by shopping it out. It is worth your time when you put that in the long run. Inflate your tires properly. This was a huge one for my dad. He said, inflate your tires properly and do the speed limit. You would be amazed at how much gas you'll save by those 2 things alone. It's crazy. I've done this test when I've driven up to see my sister, and every single time I'm amazed at how much money I can save or spend depending on my speed. And I love going fast. The other thing is to consolidate trips. I learned this really well when I had my babies. I learned how to consolidate my trips. It saves gas, it saves time, it just makes sense. And sometimes when you forget something, it's like, I didn't need it that bad anyway. At home, I have a lot of home suggestions, so I hope you stick with me on this. And be sure to subscribe, like, and comment on my channel, and hopefully you can share it too, because these really benefit a lot of people. Okay, at home, speaking of insurance, you can check your annual homeowner's insurance premium too. This is really important to do a couple of months before your insurance comes due, so that your mortgage servicer does not automatically pay the new company. You kind of want to time it right. So I like doing it 60 days before my due date or my renewal is up. And then watch your thermostat. So this one's crazy because you can save between 25 and 50 bucks a month just based on where your thermostat is. So if you're not home, please make it to where it's cooler in the house when it's wintertime, or warmer in the house when it's summertime. When it's nighttime, change it. Just a couple of degrees makes a really, really big difference. My home bill is crazy low compared to many of my friends. And they're like, I don't understand how come your insurance or your utilities are so much cheaper than mine. It all has to do with me playing around with the thermostat in my home. Okay, spend less time in the shower. Long showers will kill your water bill, and your water heater is heating up that water. So keep your water at a minimum, keep your shower to less than 5 minutes, preferably. And you guys have it made because you don't have legs to shave and your hair isn't long and all that stuff. It doesn't take forever for your hair to get washed and conditioned and all that fun stuff. So keep your time in the shower shorter. And speaking of the shower, get a tankless water heater. These things are amazing. You have instant hot water, and it doesn't constantly heat up the hot water throughout the day when you're not even using it, which costs money and utilities. So I love the tankless water heater. I've had one before. I would love to have one again. I just haven't put that in the budget yet for that. And then clean your own home, clean your own car, maintain your own lawn and your pool, and you will save a fortune in those things. Even if you just cut 2 of those 4 things out, for example, you can save some money. Sell things that you don't need or want anymore. On Mercari, Poshmark, you can do the eBay, you can do the Facebook Marketplace, any of those things. Sell the things that you don't want because you don't want them anyway. You might as well sell them, use the cash to pay off a debt, for example. Make things last longer. You don't need as much detergent or dishwashing soap or hair soap or conditioner as you think you do. You can eliminate just a smidgen less, and it will take it a lot longer for you to run out. It will save you some money in the meantime. Wash clothes on cold if they're not really soiled. So if you don't have some obvious visible stains, washing your clothes on cold is just fine. I'm not a fan of doing that with bedding or with towels, but with clothes, I'm fine with that as long as they're not like, exercise workout clothes, which can get nasty. So you can wash those things on cold if they're not heavily soiled. It will save you some money from your hot water heater. Only do loads of dishes and laundry when full. This is huge for a lot of people that I know that only do partial loads. Don't do that. You're using the exact same utilities, electricity, water. Your water, a lot of times, like my washing machine doesn't have a very low load. So if I wash a small load, it's going to use the same amount of water. I have a high efficiency washer, but it's still using the same amount of water as a big load. So I don't like to do them unless they're full. Of course, I don't like doing them at all, but okay. The towels versus paper towels. This is actually a new one that I just started doing. My grandparents never used paper towels ever. And now that we have a paper towel shortage, I have converted over to using regular towels. And I'm gonna do towels anyway every week when it comes to my laundry. So now they're really little. It doesn't take up a lot of extra room in my laundry, and I am being environmentally friendly, as well as I can't find these anyway. So, this is a great alternative. And I bought a pack at Home Depot for about the same price as I would pay, actually a little bit less, as I would pay for like a 6-pack of paper towels. So these are gonna last a lot longer, and I don't have to worry about not finding the product at the store. So that's a good one too, I think, to just, use something and be, like I said, environmentally friendly too. Okay, cable. Cancel the cable. Switch to things like Roku or the Fire Stick, Hulu and Netflix apps. Different apps that you can, instead of having cable at $100 a month, sometimes more than that. I've seen some bills that are way more than that. But you have to be careful because these subscriptions like Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, I can keep going, Gaia, whatever, they can really add up. You can actually have so many apps and subscriptions that you're exceeding the cost of cable. So watch that. Be very, very careful. Eliminate the excess applications that you're not using. Before I had Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, and cable, and I eliminated 2 of the 4, and I have saved quite a bit of money in the process. The other thing is manage your app subscriptions on your phone. You would be amazed at what you've signed up for and didn't even realize it. Manage the subscriptions on your phone, drop them off within the iPhone, for example. It's over in your settings. There's a subscription setting. You can go in there and you can cancel those subscriptions in a heartbeat and stop paying for something you don't need. Same thing is true if you own a business. There's a lot of things that we pay for. I don't own a business, but I am in business where I have a lot of things that I personally pay for. And I kind of did some analysis on my credit card statement to notice that there was a lot of auto recurring things that I didn't use anymore. So of course I'm promptly canceling them because it's not necessary. It's not something that's benefiting me anymore. So why pay for it? The other thing is shop your cell phone service. It's amazing. I have been with my cell phone provider for years. And if you start shopping them out against other carriers, you would be amazed at what they will do in dropping your price if they find out you're shopping them. So ask, what's the worst they can say, right? DIY around your home instead of always hiring it out. So there are certain things that I will DIY myself. There are certain things that I will not. For example, I will not lay tile for the rest of my life because I have done way too much tile laying and I can't stand it, and I'm not a great tile layer either. So there are certain things, however, that I will do. I will paint a small room. I will not paint an entire house. But if there's a room that I want to have painted, then I don't have any problem doing it myself. But there are certain things that you can and can't DIY yourself. So take those and figure out what you do best and what's the best use of your time, so you can figure that out. At the bank, this is a really good one. Eliminate bank accounts that charge fees for things. A lot of banks will charge fees for having the account, for checks, a whole slew of fees that I see on people's bank statements. There are alternatives to this. I had a bank account one time that would charge me if I I think it was $5 a month, and it was just for having the account. So I called them up and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about canceling my account. What do I need to do? And they were like, well, why? Because you use the account, relatively often. And I said, well, because you're charging me to have my account, and I don't think that's right. And they said, well, if you just sign up for a direct deposit, then we'll waive the monthly fee. And I said, well, how much does direct deposit need to be? He was like, $5 a month works. And I was like, cool. So basically it was almost like I had a little, $5 a month going in. And eventually it's like a forced savings plan almost, because it's just for the purposes of not having a fee. So, so that's another alternative as well. The activities, you can save a lot of money on activities. For example, all of us want to do fun things with our spouse, right? But especially right now, we don't have the ability to get out of our houses to do date night. And so what I would like to challenge you to do is, if you do date night every single week, which we're supposed to do, then maybe one of those 4 nights per month could be a date night that you stay in and do maybe a board game, and listen to some music, have a board game going, have a glass of wine with you, something fun like that. It's really a fun experience. Trivial Pursuit, something like that, where it's really challenging each other, but fun and competitive at the same time. And the other thing is looking for free activities. There are a ton of free activities when you're allowed outside your home. And the things that you can do that don't cost any money. There's a lot of great things around my hometown of San Antonio that you can do without costing any money. You can even go for a walk. There's some amazing walks at the Missions, downtown San Antonio, that don't cost you anything, that you could be able to really enjoy the time with other people, your kids, your spouse, your significant other, where you can enjoy the time together but not cost any money whatsoever other than the gas to get there. So I hope that this has given you some great ideas to save some money, to slash here and there, be able to, save $5 or $2 or 3 or 4, and make yourself to where you've got a little bit more money going into savings, paying off a little bit more in debt, because I think after all of us get out of this mess that we're currently in, I think that we're gonna have a whole new priority to our life. So with that being said, you make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll have some more great budgeting tips, savings, debt payoff, and just some regular updates for you guys in the mortgage industry. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.